Actually, that was a nice nap. That segment went on so long, I was getting bored. So, who cares about discussions? I got a good nap in. Thank God it's over. Yeah, getting back to business now. Great things must come to an end sometime. And with that is segment 3, the Gaming with Class Classy Awards for E3 2018. What did I love of E3? What was my game of the show? What was the worst game? Worst conference? So on and so forth. All will be revealed in this next segment. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here is segment 3. You have a great one out there. Now if you'll excuse me, I got some sleep to do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the first annual Gaming with Class E3 Classy Awards. This is where I give my final rewards for E3 2018. What did I like? What was my favorite game? So on. We have got a lot of things to go over and a lot of awards to give. Starting off, the first award is of the best new IP I saw of the show. And I'm going to award this one with Ghost of Tsushima, the Sucker Punch Samurai game. I've really been digging this game a lot, E3. And of all the original IPs I've seen this year, this is the one that really stood out to me, especially seeing the footage of it. Moving on to the best new indie game, and I of course put Tunic. I've been talking about this game a lot. This game looks really good. It's another one of those games, kind of like Cuphead, where this could be a game that would let me and make me go out and buy an Xbox One. I think Tunic is really standing out, and I'm very much interested in this game. Next on my list, I have most interesting VR title, and this year I awarded to Tetris Effect by Enhanced Games. While the game was revealed a few days before E3, it was still shown off as an E3 trailer, and this game looks incredible in VR. I have a lot of trust in Enhanced Games. They did Res in VR with the Area X mode was one of my favorite VR experiences. And from the trailer visually, I am sure this game looks great in VR, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it this fall. So that is probably my favorite VR game. There were a few other ones I saw throughout the show that interest me, but this is the one that still is in my head, just like, man, that soundtrack's gonna be good, and that game's gonna probably look and play very well. To move into a little more of a sadder note, worst decision of E3, and easily this has to go to Fortnite on PS4 and the decision to lock your account to the PS4 if you're playing on Switch or other systems. I was very excited to play Fortnite on the Switch, but now, due to this thing with Sony and blocking it, I almost don't have the want anymore, because all the progress I've made and the battle pass I bought isn't transferring, and I'm not going to buy it again. So really, this is the worst decision, because it's we're losing customers. Like, it's so backwards. Like, Sony needs to change this. This is a garbage just way of handling things. Like, just let people play crossplay. Like, it's possible. Like, come on. Moving on to a new addition this year, the best Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. Now, if you remember, there's a lot of Kingdom Hearts trailers. We got one at Microsoft, we got one at Square, and we got one at Sony. So which did I prefer of all of them? And I'm gonna go with the Microsoft one, because of course it had the biggest kind of at the end with the reveal, and it was a good trailer. And the Pirates one for Sony was also very good. So overall, who cares? Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out, and I'm all excited for it. Who cares which is the best trailer? That game's gonna be the best. Next on my list, I have big blowout games that surprisingly looked good. These are kind of games where I went in with kind of mid expectations. We knew we were gonna see it, and it left me kind of like, you know what? This looks pretty good. Like, I'm actually gonna check it out. I have a few on here, so I'm gonna list them off. The first, Rage 2. I didn't play much of Rage 1. I saw it, it looked decent, it didn't blow me away. This one seems a lot different. I'm liking what they're doing with the combat in this one, and the feel and look they're going for. It looks pretty cool. I'm interested in it. Another one I have on here is Skull and Bones, the Ubisoft pirate game. I didn't know what to expect last year because they didn't have much of any footage at all outside of a cinematic trailer. This year we got a more extended look at it, and this game's looking pretty alright. The pirate mechanic from Assassin's Creed 4 was one of my favorite parts of the game, so an entire game based on that is kind of cool. It depends how much they go in on the pirate aspect. If they go all in, then it'll be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to Skull and Bones. And the other one on here, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I have not played an Assassin's Creed game since Black Flag, so that one is bringing me back is kind of saying something. Odyssey looks like it's changing some things up in the series, and I'm kind of liking what they're going for. So I'm a big fan of like Greece and that time period. So who knows? I may check out Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's looking pretty alright in my book. And moving on to another list of just games. These are just a list of favorite games of E3. Now, there are probably some I'm going to miss out on, but if there's one missing, not that it's not a favorite of mine that I forgot. There's a lot of announcements this E3. So I'm gonna say some names off. I might explain a little bit about it. So here we go. Favorite games I saw. Resident Evil 2 is one. Very happy that game's finally coming out. Dying Light 2 looks like an improvement on the first game, and things are looking pretty well for the story and what they're going for. Diamond X Machina, the game no one's talking about, the mech game that was revealed at the start of the Nintendo Direct. Looks very cool. Saw gameplay of it from the Nintendo Treehouse event. I'm looking the looks of that game. I'm all for it. It's cool to see another mech game. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Don't need to say anything. I'm Smash fan, so I'm getting it. Death Stranding. I've played every single Hideo Kojima game. I like the concept of Death Stranding, the mystery behind it, and I want to see more of it. I thought the trailer was cool. The new Spider-Man game. This is one that's coming out very soon. It looks really throwback to the PS2 Spider-Man games, like Spider-Man 2, Ultimate Spider-Man, so I'm all for it. It's gonna be a great game, and it comes out very soon. Last of Us Part 2. I don't know when this game is coming out, per se, but I am all for it. I'm excited to see where the story is going to go and what they're going to add to it. So I've trusted Naughty Dog. Sekiro, the From Software title. It's kind of a hidden game in the Microsoft showing. Very much interested in it. I think From Software is going in a pretty cool direction this year with that. And I'm all for whatever they're going to do. It looks like a Tenchu type game with like a mix of like a Souls gameplay. Whatever they do, I'm all for. I have full support in From Software. Now there are a whole bunch of other games I could list, but I'm not going to because I could go on all day. I'll just say there are a lot of really, really cool games this year, E3. I can't list all of them, but overall, there are some games I'm going to be getting this year and definitely next year. So back to the awards part now. The worst looking title of E3 goes to Gears Pop. This is probably the worst game of the show. I don't know who this game is made for. I don't know what it is, but regardless, it is not interesting me in the slightest, and I am saying no to Pop. Hashtag stop the Pop. Stop the Pop. A most disappointing game. And this one I award to Fallout 76. When I first saw the reveal of this game, I was kind of excited. I'm like, okay, a new Fallout game. This could be kind of cool. And then I heard things of the online RPG mechanics of it is where I kind of lost some interest. And seeing the way it's executed doesn't excite me at all. This seems to be really straying away from the Fallout series and kind of what I expect to see from a Fallout game, where you don't really talk to NPCs. It seems more focused on combat and really hanging out with your friends, when for Fallout, I want that isolation you get. I want the feeling of going into dark caverns by yourself and exploring, seeing the story and the lore come out, and really making your own character. You're having either someone who's smart or who's like a scientist who's hacking, and it feels like in this game you're not going to be able to do any of these things. So I'm I'm disappointed in it. I wish Obsidian could make another one, because Fallout New Vegas is an outstanding game, and I'd love a sequel to that in some form. Like, hey, if they just released Fallout New Vegas remastered for PS4, that would have been better than 76 in my eyes. Like, it's sad. Favorite reveal of E3 2018, and this, of course, goes to Devil May Cry 5. I did not expect in the slightest bit that we would be seeing this game come back, and I'm just happy to see a return to form. We're seeing Nero back, we're seeing Dante, we're getting in style of old Devil May Cry combat, similar to 4, and the things they're doing with this game, I'm really enjoying. So I'm all in on Devil May Cry 5, and it was probably the reveal that really excited me, just like Resident Evil 2. So I'm just happy. That was a cool announcement. It's good to see Devil May Cry back in the limelight again. So the last things I have on here is most anticipated future title. This is a game that's coming in the future that has no set release. So what I have on here is Cyberpunk 2077. This is a game that really interested me, from the trailer to just the people working behind it. CD Projekt Red. I love the Witcher series, and I'm very much looking forward to what they have going on with this game. Hearing from what was shown at the behind closed doors gameplay at E3, this game seems really cool. And I'm ready to see this gameplay come out. Like, they need to release this very soon, because after hearing it, it's like, I need to see this in action. But we might be waiting a long time before we actually see gameplay, either next E3 or whoever knows, because CD Projekt Red games take a long time to make, but it usually means in the end you're getting a finished product that's good. So I take as long as you need, but just give me some gameplay. Like, I need to see this in action, like, now. So here we are, the final conference ranking for E3 2018. Now, I've been thinking long and hard about this list, but this is my final tally. Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Ubisoft, Bethesda, Square, and EA. That is my final ranking. Now, I've had Microsoft as my top spot for a while. And for a second, Sony was there. I would say, if I was to take the presentation out, like if Sony had a great presentation, they would be number one for me. Just in terms of the games shown. I would almost say there were more games at Sony that interested me than Microsoft, but the showing itself in Microsoft was much better and was much more varied. But I loved pretty much everything at Sony. And Microsoft had a lot of good announcements, like with Sekiro and DMC5 and other games, like, which it's hard to get into because a lot of them are multi-plat. They're coming to PS4. With Sony, it's all first party for the most part. So we know these games are only going to be on PS4, excluding like RE2 and Neo. So it's tough. Right now, Sony and Microsoft are kind of like this. They're pretty close together. Microsoft gets a little edge from the presentation side, but if I was to go in terms of the games, Sony would win. So right now, I'd say number one is tied Microsoft Sony. I can't really push one over. They're kind of equal to me, which it might be a controversial statement, but it's tough because I hated the presentation of Sony, but the games brought me back. Like, seeing Ghost of Tsushima brought me up in spirit. Seeing the RE2 reveal brought me up. Death Stranding gameplay and Spider-Man, like, that stuff really saved the conference, and seeing the footage of that was really great. But moving on, Nintendo. I would be one to defend Nintendo. I think they didn't come out showing the titles for the future like Metroid Prime 4 or the new Yoshi game. It seemed like they wanted to focus on kind of the fall lineup and really focus on Smash. We are going to see more coming for these games in like November with a Direct, they've said. But Nintendo did have some good things. I really liked Super Mario Party. Daemon X Machina, I think, looks really good, and no one's talking about it at all. And the new Fire Emblem game looks cool too. It's like there were some announcements in there that weren't Smash that were cool that I did enjoy. And because the Nintendo stuff is really snappy, it just goes and it's fast. Ubisoft, yet again, Ubisoft has done a pretty fair job in their conferences. They've had good showings. I think going the route of showing the developers, having them come on stage and be very excited to announce their project and talk about what they've been keeping secret for months. I think that stuff is great. I have really no issues with Ubisoft, like outside of maybe like the little intro and that, but like Ubisoft has been doing pretty good overall for the past few years, and I'm really impressed with them. Bethesda. This wasn't one of the best Bethesda showings. They had a lot of cool reveals. I think seeing the short teaser of Elder Scrolls 6 for like the far, far future is cool. And knowing that at least we're going to be seeing Doom 2 and more Wolfenstein, that is great. Wasn't the best showing. Like, I didn't outright hate it, but it wasn't something that left me like that was an amazing showing from them. But overall, like, not bad, just not great. Square's showing, I expected a lot of. I was kind of let down in the end, just because they didn't show too much. There was like kind of 2 new announcements, like the new Platinum game that I guess is coming out. Looks kind of cool. We just have a concept, but I'm sure it's going to be fine because it's Platinum Games. And just seeing kind of some more stuff we already know going in. So it wasn't really like a needed showing, but it wasn't interesting. It was kind of boring at times. Like, it's cool seeing some stuff, but it wasn't my favorite. And the last I have is EA. EA, yet again, I think 4 years in a row was the least favorite conference. And the problem is this year is that EA could have had a good showing. Because I think starting off, it wasn't too bad. And then there were just moments in the conference that brought it all the way down. And just kept bringing back the EA that I know. Like, focusing an hour on Anthem wasn't good. Talking about Star Wars in the audience really wasn't good. And there are just moments in there. Like, outside of those 2 games, that's it. And it was just, I really wanted EA to do better. I was going in like, you know what, I've not been a fan of EA's conferences the past few years, but maybe they will come back and they'll have a decent showing this year. And yet again, I haven't been impressed with them. Like, maybe at some point they will improve like the presentation side of things, but yeah, they were my least favorite conference. And that generally was my conference listing. But we have one more reveal. My game of E3 2018. The game that stood the test out of all the hours of E3 I've seen. This is the game that stuck with me the most and that interested me and excited me out of anything. The game that I'm still thinking of. And that game is, drumroll please, hand me the envelope. Thank you. And that game is Ghost of Tsushima. That was my game of E3 2018. From the first second I saw Ghost of Tsushima, that game impressed me. The look of it, just the overall aesthetic of it. Sucker Punch got it all right. I would say samurai games have always been my favorite. And this game, to me, I've been wanting a game like this for years. Onimusha was one of my favorite games on the PS2. And no game since then has really given me that itch similar to it. And Ghost of Tsushima is the one that seems to be the closest. The game looks absolutely beautiful. Like, that shot at the end, that final fight, that is a wallpaper. That is the game that would get me to buy a PS4 Pro and a 4K TV. Even though we saw little bits of it, I'm still thinking about that gameplay, and I'm still like just giddy talking about it. I cannot wait to play it. I have all my faith in like Sucker Punch and that they are gonna bring out a great game. And that to me was E3 2018. All the awards and everything. This was a pretty good E3. It's not one of the best. It seems to be a transition year. I feel next year we're going to start seeing stuff with next-gen consoles and so on and so forth. And we'll probably be seeing more bigger stuff then. But this year, because we're kind of in between, and it was kind of one of those awkward years, we didn't see too much, but overall, there's a lot of games coming out, a lot of really good stuff, and I'm all for it. My wallet's not, but I'm all for it. So, that's it for segment 3. Now, excuse me, I gotta get back to work. These games ain't gonna be cheap. Well, that is it. That was my E3 2018 closing review. I'd like to thank you to anybody who stuck around for the end of this. This was a long video. I'm sorry yet again. Last year's was long. This one was about as long as well, so I apologize in advance. E3 this year was very fun for me. I loved the videos doing pre-E3, which I will yet again be doing next year. I loved doing the E3 videos while the show was going on, watching all the conferences, giving the recaps, so on. E3 is always a favorite time of mine. It's like a gaming Christmas, as dumb as that statement is. And I've been watching and reading about E3 for as long as I can remember, and I am very much looking forward to next year. I don't know what will be shown, I don't know what games are going to announce, whether we have new systems on the horizon. It's all up in the air, but that's what makes E3 so fun, because you never know what to expect. One show you might not get nothing, the next you might get new systems and a game you never thought they'd bring back. So, thank you for watching. As always, I'm John. And until next year, I'm going to put the Phil Spencer jacket away. It's going to go in the closet and be there. But you better believe, the Classy Awards are back. And this is coming back too. See you next year. Maybe there won't be Battle Royale.